welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Star, otherwise I am Lady Dead Rabbit. I am a cosplayer, and here on this channel I of course focus primarily on cosplay makeup and cosplay related topics. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I transform myself into Bela Dimitrescu from Resident Evil Village. Bela is a villain in this game and she's really fun, and I think this is just an easy look for anyone out there. Ooh, sorry, had to take off the choker. It was starting to choke me. I think that this cosplay is perfect for anyone who's looking for sort of a last-minute, fun, easy Halloween costume idea. I think it's also a really good start for anyone who is interested in cosplaying more from Resident Evil, but are kind of on a budget. The image over here is the reference that I am using for this entire makeup look. It is what I'm primarily going to be referring to for whenever I do this makeup. Stick around toward the end of the video where I talk about the costume and how I put everything together, as well as some other social links that you can find me at. Without further ado, I'm just going to hop right into the makeup. So the first thing that I do before I do any cosplay makeup, and I will say this time in and time again, no matter what character I'm cosplaying as, is of course I put in my contacts. And for Bela Dimitrescu, I am wearing a pair of yellow lenses from Uniqso. As you can very clearly see, I have already put them on. I'm going to try and link them down below. I couldn't find the exact pair that I got, so I'm not sure if this company still sells these contacts, but I did find something very, very similar. If you do not have yellow contacts, I will say that I feel like white contacts could work really well for this character. I think that these contacts I'm wearing are a little bit too yellow for this character. I originally got them to cosplay Morgan from Dragon Age, and I just wear them for Bela because I feel like, I don't know, they're just the closest thing that I have for this character, so I'm just gonna use what I have. After that, I am going to put on a little bit of primer and a little bit of foundation. Because Bela's face is mostly covered in blood and she has tear streaks down her cheeks, I'm not going to do a full face of foundation and concealer. I am using the tiniest amount, and I'm actually just going to put it on my forehead where I'm going to put the tattoo. The reason why I'm doing this is because I will actually be drawing on the little tattoo on my forehead rather than using a stencil or using a temporary tattoo. I do know that Amazon and Etsy, you can buy the little House Dimitrescu little rose tattoo that the Dimitrescu, I keep knocking this over, oops, that the Dimitrescu sisters have. So if you're not confident in your ability to draw on your face with eyeliner, that is always an option. I am cheap and I don't feel like doing and buying stuff like that. So I am just drawing it on with eyeliner. So yeah, and the reason why I'm doing a little bit of face primer and foundation specifically in the area that I'm going to be putting the tattoo is so that it's easier for me to clean and wash it off. I just find that it's also easier to draw on. I don't know, it's easier for me to do, so that's why I'm doing it. So yeah, foundation, and then the primer that I'm using. The primer is by Maybelline, it's called Fit Me, and then the foundation is a satin foundation by e.l.f. So I'm just going to take a little beauty blender brush and I'm just going to do just the tiniest amount on my forehead just to blend it out. If you want to do a full face, you can go ahead and do that. Personally, I do not see a point in doing that at all, as she has blood literally like down here, you know? So in my opinion, there's no point in doing that, but you can do whatever you want. now that I've done with that, I'm going to be going in and I will start the process of contouring. Again, because Bela's face is, like, from here down is covered in blood, I would say you don't need to worry about contouring your cheeks or anything major like that. The only focal points of contouring for this character that you should be focusing is just the nose. So Bela has a really unique nose. The best way I can describe it is it's very French looking, which would make sense because Dimitrescu is a French name. I don't know if the facial model that they used for this character is a French model or if she is like a descendant of French European sort of culture, but her nose, in my opinion, looks very French. It's skinny, it's not too long, it's kind of average in length, but like the tip of it is very round and it sort of pokes out a bit. And in comparison to my nose, her nostrils are very much out more, and I don't really know what to describe this. I guess nostril folds. I'm sorry, I don't know the correct terminology for this. But for hers, in comparison to my nose, is very much more prominent and more out, like kind of like this a little bit. So for contouring my nostrils to look more like hers, I'm going to be going in with this little brown pencil liner, and I'm just going to be doing a subtle line in between my nostrils. I'm also going to be sort of shading and extending the sides of them a little bit just to make them look a bit more wider and curved before I really go in and contour. And I'm just using blush. This is sort of an old blush. Blush Sweet, and it's by Afra Cosmetics or Madison Miller. This is something I got a long time ago. I think someone gave it to me. But that's the blush I'm going to be using, and I'm just using a very basic eyeshadow brush to really be blending it out. But I will be blending out my nose just a little bit. Sort of making an indentation here, and then also very softly sort of going around the crevices of where my nose and my brow kind of meets my eye, just because she has a very kind of crazy, sick look to her, which, I mean, she's a villain, so it makes sense. So yeah, I'm going to be going ahead and doing that. Alright, as you can see, I have contoured my nose. Obviously, it's not going to be exactly like this character, as my nose shape and her nose shape are different. But I have done my best to contour my face to give it the illusion that it is the same length and width that her nose is. The next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to be jumping into the tattoo. So Bela has pretty interesting tattoo. It's a rose that has sort of this like halo effect going around it, and then there's a little crescent moon right up at the top. And I'll try and put like a good reference image for you guys. So I do freestyle and I hand draw my tattoo on for this character. I'm just using a pretty simple eyeliner. This is by Wet n Wild. It's breakup proof, liquid, waterproof sort of eyeliner. I like it because it has a very sharp tip and it's very pigmenty. But yeah. So the easiest way I can really describe this towards people who want to try and paint this on themselves, there is no shame in getting a temporary tattoo and just slapping it to your forehead. If you think that that is just way easier for you to do, then by all means do it. But I am not going to be doing that. So I'm going to be starting off in the center of my forehead, the lower center. right in between where my brows meet, and I will be doing just a stem, and I'm going to be drawing it just about a little bit here, halfway up, before I sort of do the squiggles. And you guys will see what I'm doing in a minute as I do it. That are going to be the rose petals, and then there's going to be 2 longer rose petals that sort of go out, almost like an upside down arrow. And then you can also, there are also some leaves down at the bottom, and a small little stem that goes off and has a tiny rose. And so then there's, of course, the circle and the crescent moon. I know it seems really weird, but the most important thing to remember about doing this makeup is her makeup is incredibly messy. It's super messy, it's not perfect, so just have fun with it. Do not stress and worry if every line is not perfect or symmetrical. That's kind of the point, is it's not supposed to be 100% perfect and symmetrical, you know? So do not be intimidated when doing this. And again, just buying like a little temporary tattoo is always an option. But yeah, I'm going to be doing it. Another way that I saw another cosplayer do whenever doing this makeup is they took their phone and they had like a photo of the tattoo, and they just sort of held it to their face and drew it on while looking in the mirror. If that's something that helps you, go ahead and do it. I don't think I really need to do that. Of course, I have a little reference image of how I do the makeup on my laptop down here, so I can always glance down just to make sure that I'm getting all the details that I want to get in. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, so that is the basic sort of outline of how I do the tattoo. As you can see, it's not perfect. In fact, it's far from that. But again, this makeup is super crazy and very chaotic looking, and I would not worry too much about getting into the extreme details of things, you know. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is just with a angled eyeshadow brush, oh my goodness, and just some black eyeshadow. This is really cheap, it's by LA Colors. I'm going to be going in and I'm going to be sort of shading everything. Excuse me. I'm going to be going in, I'm going to be sort of shading everything, and this is what's going to make the tattoo look a little bit more unhinged, because it's very messy, even within the game. Alright, now that I'm done with that, I'm going to be going into the eyebrows. Bela has some pretty weird eyebrows. So her eyebrows are kind of short. They're what I call hamster eyebrows, but they're not completely trimmed up. So the best thing I'm going to be doing to get that shape over my bushy, untamed eyebrows is I'm going to be going in with just a normal brown eyeshadow brush, or I'm sorry, eyebrow pencil, and I'm going to be just outlining the first part of my eyebrow and sort of tapering it off slightly to where my pupil is in the center of my eye. That's sort of how I'm marking it. Doing the same thing on both sides, and then I'm gonna very lightly go over it with just a little bit of this black eyeliner pencil, just because her eyebrows are a pretty dark brown, which is interesting considering the fact that she has blonde hair. So yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then we'll jump into the eye makeup. Right, and the next thing that we will be doing, which is the most glamorous part of this makeup, I would argue, is Bela's eye makeup. So, despite the fact that she has mascara and eyeshadow just dripping down her eyes, her eye makeup is actually rather neat looking. It has this very shimmery sort of eyeshadow look on top of it, and then it has this very beautiful sort of deep set eyeliner look to it. She also, in my opinion, looks like she's wearing false lashes. And then it's basically all completely neat up here, and then down here is where it's really messy. So yeah, the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be on top of my eyes, the lids of my eyes. I'm going to be going in with a little bit of this Mayron white face paint, and basically just the end of my little eyeshadow I'm going to be going in, and I'm just going to be going over top. I'm not going to go too heavy. This is basically just priming my eyes so that whenever I put on my eyeshadow, it's going to pop all the more. So yeah. So my eyelids are all nice and primed up. So for Bela's shimmery sort of eyeshadow, this is just a cheap Color Mates little eyeshadow palette I literally got at the dollar store. But with this sort of shimmery, peachy kind of colored eyeshadow, I will be going over the inner part and beginning part of my eyes, and then going back in with my LA Colors black eyeshadow. I will be just at the very creases of my eye, dabbing a little bit of that. And then I will be going in with the eyeliner. Alright, now that I'm done with that, I'm going to be going in with the eyeliner. So Bela's eyeliner is very heavy. It goes completely around her eyes. It tapers off into a bit of a wing, which I will be going over and making the wing eyeliner back with my Wet n Wild liquid eyeliner. And then also there's a bit of a I'm extending the eyeliner a little bit in the tear ducts just to give it more of a sexy sort of cat eye. And then I will be going in with a tapered little makeup brush, and with the black eyeshadow I will be dragging it down to make it look like I have been crying. And once I'm done with that, I will also be doing a thin little liner of my my magnetic eyeliner. And I'm not going to put on my false lashes quite yet. I'm going to wait till the end to do that because I want it to sit and dry before I put on my false lashes. Because if I try to put it on immediately after putting on the eyeliner, it's not going to stick very well, and it's kind of just going to ruin it. And I try to use my false lashes at least a couple times before I toss them out. here is where the makeup really starts to kick off and get messy. And yes, I did go off screen to put on the costume just because I was wearing a turtleneck, and for the next part, I kind of need my chest to be exposed to do the rest of the makeup. So I went ahead and I just threw on my costume. So with the same tapered paintbrush that I went in before and I did my messy sort of tear streaked makeup, I'm going to be going in with this dark brown eyeshadow. This is by Estate, and I'm going to basically just sort of be patting around my face to form sort of a Joker-like smile, and then also streaking it down my chin, and then just splattering it a lot around my chest, specifically the cleavage area. Oh, see, I'm already making some marks from my black eyeshadow. And then this is just really to sort of replicate and to sort of mimic the dried blood splatter that Bela has. The interesting thing about the Dimitrescu sisters is even though their mouths are completely covered in blood, they actually have different speckles of blood, and on their chest specifically, they have what looks like really old dried blood, or maybe even vomit, and they have a little bit of that around their mouth. So I'm going to be using a couple different techniques that you guys will see to sort of mimic the different stages of blood. So I'll have some fresh looking blood as well as some older dried crusty looking blood. So yeah, to sort of represent the dried crusty looking blood, I will be just sort of splattering and making little streaks all across my face and my chest with some brown eyeshadow. Alright, as you can see, I look like a child who got into the cocoa powder. Yeah, so the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be jumping into Bela's lips. He is wearing black lipstick. I am not very good with black lipstick, excuse me. I don't like black lipstick at all. In my opinion, it just doesn't look good on myself, and also just like in general, I'm not really a big fan of black lipstick. So I don't own any black lipstick. I'm not really a gothic sort of type of person. So to mimic and to shade my lips to look like Bela's, I'm going to be lining my lips with just a pencil black liner, and then I will be filling it in with this cream black face paint by Wet n Wild, and then I will take you guys to the bathroom because I don't want to spill any fake blood to do the gory stuff. So for the rest of this makeup, I'm actually going to be doing it here in my bathroom just because it has to do with fake blood and I want to keep it in an area that's easy to clean up as possible. So yeah, as you can see, I went ahead and did the black lipstick that Bela wears. Luckily, Bela has very large lips like myself, so I didn't really have to change the shape of them. If you have thinner lips, I would recommend whenever outlining your lips to go a bit bigger, just to sort of go around the outside, just so your lips look a bit more fuller, because she has quite full looking lips. So yeah, I'm using 3 different kinds of fake blood today to replicate some of the different textures of blood that Bela has on her face and chest. First blood is vampire blood. It's pretty cheap. You can get it at any Halloween store, specifically Spirit Halloween right after the holidays. Yeah, I'm just gonna be taking a little bit and just sort of making a Joker-like smile, and then dripping it down. So whenever doing the fake blood, you kind of just want to do like an upside down T, sort of going out and then dripping down. All right, looks a little bit silly. Looks like a child tried to do my makeup, I know, but trust the process. The next thing I'm going to be doing is really the major blood splatter, and I'm actually just stepping in the shower to do it. And it is by Mayron, and it's simply called Blood Splatter. I got this off Amazon for like a couple bucks. And yeah, I'll be splattering it just around my face, really. Alright, so my face is nicely gored up. I even got a little bit in my mouth, but it's perfectly safe to have in your mouth. Has a weird taste. The next thing I'm going to be doing is Mayron Stage Blood. This blood is a lot thicker, it's more congealed, and I'm really going to primarily having it around my mouth. Again, in that sort of Joker-like smile. And it's kind of going to represent the darker, more thick, congealed blood. And this is very sweet. It's very safe for your mouth. And I'm going to be doing it in the bathroom, or I mean in the shower again, just because of how messy it can kind of get. All right, and the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to take a blow dryer and I'm going to sort of dry the blood a little bit because as you can see, it's quite wet. I just want to dry it a little bit more before I put on the wig because it is a blonde wig and I don't really want any blood to tangle up in it. It's probably in my hair. Oops. And yeah, then I'm gonna clean up my teeth and I'm gonna put in some fake little fangs. These are pretty cheap, basic vampire fangs I just got off Amazon. Because Bela, funny enough, her teeth are very sparkling white. And I accidentally got a little bit in my mouth, so oops. And yeah, then after that, I'm going to pop on my false lashes and I will throw on the rest of my costume and a little bit about my cosplay for you guys. Alright, and that is basically how I do my makeup for Bela Dimitrescu. It's super easy, super fun. I know pretty much everyone and their mom has cosplayed and done a makeup tutorial for this character, but I wanted to sort of put my own 2 cents on how I do the makeup for this character. Now to talk a little bit about the costume. The wig I simply got off Amazon. It's super easy, super cheap. I got it a long time ago, so unfortunately I don't remember what brand it's from, but if you just go on there and look up like blonde wigs shoulder length, you should be able to find it. His hair technically is around this sort of length, but I've seen people cosplay her with really long hair, and honestly, if you have a blonde wig that's super long and you don't feel like cutting it, or even if you yourself have really long blonde hair, I think that looks fine. So no judgment on that. The costume I have is literally just stuff I got from my actual closet. I didn't buy anything for this. As I mentioned earlier in the video, the contacts are from Uniqso. I will link them down below for you guys to find on your own. This hoodie dress sort of cloak was actually a Christmas gift from my grandmother. She got it off Amazon. However, My Costumes, which is literally my favorite costume company ever, has a Bela costume. I will link that down below. Eventually, I'll probably end up getting that costume, but at the same time, this is a character that I don't really dress up as a whole lot. Please ignore my eyelashes that are being really stubborn. I don't feel like fixing them, and I'm probably gonna throw them away because they're kind of crusty. Choker and necklace and jewelry, accessories are all just things I had lying around my house. But yeah, if you get the costume from My Costumes, it comes with all of the accessories. So that is kind of the nice thing about buying this, or buying a costume for her. For Bela's shoes, I usually just wear some long black high heel boots because you don't actually see her feet in the game. You see a little bit of her shoes poking out, so they're definitely dark boots. But for the most part, her dress just goes all the way down, so you don't really see her feet a whole lot. As I mentioned earlier, the fangs that I wear are just cheap little Amazon vampire fangs. Honestly, most of the time when I cosplay this character, I don't even wear fangs just because I think it looks really tacky and I don't like the way it feels in my mouth. I feel like it just looks really weird. If you liked and enjoyed this video, please let me know what you thought about down below. If you're interested in seeing more of my content, then definitely subscribe and like. Next week, I plan on doing a makeup tutorial for Liara Tassoni from Mass Effect, so if that's something that you're interested in seeing, definitely stick around. Down below, I'm going to have my link tree. It's going to be of all my other social medias, so if you guys want to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, definitely check that out. I also have a Patreon page. Becoming a Patreon subscriber means that you get to vote on what type of content that you want to see from me. You also get to see and have first early access to any new YouTube videos I do. Also exclusive content on any new cosplays I do. And at the end of every month, if you are a paid subscriber, which is only $10 a month, you're going to get little hand-signed cosplay prints. So that's pretty cool. I would definitely recommend it. Another way of supporting me, if that's something that you're interested in doing, is you can also subscribe to my TikTok. It's about $9.99 a month and you get exclusive videos, and eventually I would like to do exclusive live streams on there. Without further ado, I bid you guys good night.